In modern-day professional boxing, it's become an accepted standard for talented youngsters that possess even the slightest hints of star potential to be steered towards a path of careful matchmaking and risk-averse fights. But every so often, the sport produces a small batch of unbridled competitors intent on breaking this norm. Devin, the Dream Haney, and Ryan, the Flash Garcia, two immensely talented individuals looking to reignite their rivalry in the professional ranks on April 20th in New York. And though Haney's WBC Light Welterweight title is on the line, the fight itself represents more than just championship belts and lucrative fight purses. The symbolic and emotional significance of proving one's superiority in a hotly talented division seems to be the leading reason for their unexpected showdown.
Devin Haney, a beautiful shot there. It was coming.
For the champion, this represents the most recent phase in his ongoing ascent in the legendary pound-for-pound rankings. Having attained the status of undisputed at lightweight, Haney is now seeking more scalps to enhance his resume, having already unseated another prominent talent in his new weight class. His unrelenting thirst for fighting the best available opponents makes him one of the few operators in the sport that's driven primarily by legacy. And for that reason, his quest has put him on a collision course with a familiar foe, daring to capture all that he has built.
Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you we're gonna feel some shit you ain't felt?
Once considered the leading contender to become the next face of boxing, the immensely talented Ryan Garcia brought with him many of the traits required to transcend the sport. But despite a soaring online following and explosive abilities in the ring, there remains one niggling fact that the Californian cannot escape. And that is his current failure to maximize his tremendous potential. A deflating loss at the hands of another rival a year earlier has inflicted serious harm to his standing amongst the sport's best. And now the urgent need to mend the mistakes of the past comes at the ideal time to forge an entertaining clash to delight his legion of fans. Whether we witness the continuing rise of a consistently improving young champion, or the dramatic resurgence of a charismatic wonder kid. In this episode, we take a look at the fascinating evolution of the Haney versus Garcia rivalry. Welcome to the latest Guerrilla Productions Fight Countdown. Although April 20th will mark a pivotal moment in the careers of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, their upcoming encounter will not be an unfamiliar one.
He's with the zone now. You know what we can do.
You guys have known each other for many years?
Since we were. We fought in amateurs multiple times. You know, and in the pros we're gonna get it on when the time is right.
The two have known each other for more than a decade, having already locked horns on 6 separate occasions in the amateur ranks. Disagreements exist on how the tally currently stands, but most chroniclers observing their history have the two squared even at 3 apiece. The synergy between both fighters stems further back, when both, at the age of 7, first laced up a pair of boxing gloves. Haney went on to enjoy a respectable amateur career of 130 wins out of 138 bouts, whilst Garcia himself scored an impressive 215 wins out of 230 bouts, with both racking up a comparable 94 and 93% win ratio.
Oh, get it, Ryan!
Soon enough, the lure of the paid ranks came beckoning, as both at the ages of 17 turned into professional prize fighters. And within just 7 months of one another, under the watchful eye of their respective fathers, they made their debuts in the small halls of Mexico, due to the minimum age restrictions of the US.
And you see the black and gold being worn by Devin Haney. He is just 17 years of age.
But if ever a slight divergence was to occur during these infant stages, it would be the manner in which the two would carve their career paths.
If you want to make Oscar's day, you want to see a big bright smile on his face, ask him about Ryan Garcia.
Garcia, shortly after his 18th birthday, signed with promotional powerhouse Golden Boy Promotions, headed by the legendary Oscar de la Hoya, who himself shared an uncanny likeness to his latest signing when he also began his highly publicized professional career over 20 years prior.
But I'm glad that people are loving Ryan Garcia. He's a very charismatic fighter, but most importantly, he can fight.
The pairing seemed both symbolic and practical, as De La Hoya guided the fresh-faced star through a series of profile-building fights in which the talented lightweight blitzed through opposition with astonishing hand speed and lethal punching abilities. His attention-grabbing qualities also went beyond the boxing ring, as a keen eye for self-promotion propelled him into a social media sensation with access to a very broad and potentially profitable audience.
Keep going.
I'm scared.
Numerous brand endorsements and high-profile social collaborations soon followed, as a delighted De La Hoya reveled in the latest marketable jewel of his stable.
Wow, it's over. That's a superstar performance right there, Brian.
You ready, boy? I'm ready.
Devin Haney, on the other hand, was forced to undergo a more subtle but shrewd start to his professional journey.
Too fast, next fight. You ain't no fast.
Fully aware of the many manipulative forces within the boxing industry, Bill Haney, Devin's father, made a conscious effort to keep his son free from long-term promotional and managerial contracts. Instead, they patiently progressed through the ranks with fierce dedication, forming close relations with revered coaches and professionals to forge Haney into one of the most versatile and well-rounded prospects in the entire sport. And much like his counterpart, the young fighter also recognized the importance of self-promotion, as he too steadily built his social media following to strengthen his position at the negotiation table with promoters and TV networks.
Before, at least in the show fight style. 4-5 punch combination.
By 2019, both Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia were heralded as two of America's brightest young talents, with the potential to simultaneously become crossover box office stars.
So I'm about to shock the world, beat Linares, beat Luke Campbell, beat Gervonta Davis, now I'm gonna go after Devin.
Fans were already salivating for a high-profile meeting between the two, assuming both achieved respective world champion statuses in the very near future. And for his part, Garcia aptly demonstrated his potential with two explosive performances in particular. The first was a highlight reel knockout victory over the durable Francisco Fonseca, before being confronted with his first major acid test against former world title challenger Luke Campbell.
Look at the time. That sharp. Oh, a straight right hand from Garcia, and that got Campbell's attention.
It was a fight in which fans would witness more than just his raw fighting abilities, as a looping left hand from the southpaw sent Garcia crashing to the canvas.
Oh, left hand sends the kid down! And that's what he was setting him up for. Luke was looking for that overhand left.
An extremely heavy knockdown, marking his first ever crisis in the professional ring, and one which would require him to dig deep and repel an experienced foe plotting his demise. But remarkably, not only did Garcia swiftly recover to gain his senses, but he also possessed the initiative to thwart a potential onslaught by mounting an aggressive response of his own.
It's fight or flight if you're Ryan Garcia.
5 more rounds ensued as the young Californian expertly positioned his way back into the fight and stamped his authority with a crunching left hook to the body.
Saying to Ryan Garcia, here he goes, body shot, and he goes down, and now Campbell is down on a knee, 2 knees, and it is over! Ryan Garcia!
Ordinarily, this star-making performance would have put Garcia on the cusp of world title opportunities so that his box office potential could be fulfilled. And considering the support from a powerful broadcasting network and an experienced promotional outfit, Garcia was in a somewhat privileged position compared to most 22-year-olds in the sport.
What people say is like, I'm a social media fighter, that I don't have the heart of a champion. No matter what people say about you, it's who you choose to be, and I chose to be a champion today.
But such early success and vast amounts of fortune bring with it overbearing pressure that even the most talented of athletes are unable to withstand. And in April of 2021, just weeks after the announcement of his bout against Javier Fortuna, Ryan Garcia declared his withdrawal from the contest due to problems with mental health. What should have been a series of career-enhancing fights turned instead into prolonged fight inactivity and a huge drop in momentum, forcing the boxing world to turn their attention to other lightweights, making more meaningful headlines. Despite not having long-term promotional contracts that offered stability and guaranteed backing, Devin Haney maneuvered himself into the mandatory challenger position for Vasiliy Lomachenko's WBC World Title.
This one has been waved off. The referee has come in and waved this one over.
And although the WBC's new policies prevented him from securing the fight, he was eventually promoted to full champion status in late 2019.
WBC Lightweight World Champion, Devin the Dream.
No doubt his preference would have been to earn the world title in the ring. And despite a run of solid victories over former world champions Yuriorkis Gamboa, Jorge Linares and Joseph Diaz, much of the boxing audience still withheld their praise, as they would frequently remind him of the nature in which he earned his world title.
He hasn't been there, he's a sport brat, he's been given everything, he's been given a belt, and finally now, he's had to feel what it's like.
The fact that Haney would need to force the industry to respect his status in the sport was not a detail that went unnoticed amongst him and his team. And thus came the golden opportunity to consolidate all four of the major lightweight titles, when a two-fight deal was secured against Australia's George Kambosos, who remained in the possession of the WBA, IBF and WBO belts.
George Kambosos and Devin Haney.
The Australians' thrilling victory over the unified champion Teofimo Lopez marked one of the biggest upset results of 2021. But coming into this undisputed showdown with an opponent touted as a future star of the sport, it was widely believed that a victory was all but guaranteed for the American. And sure enough, both of their meetings resulted in comprehensive points decision wins for Devin Haney, securing his position as the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. By the close of 2022, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia stood in two starkly contrasting positions. One reveled in the treasures of being the supreme champion of the division, whilst the other was clawing back lost momentum with two back-to-back victories against Emmanuel Tego and Javier Fortuna.
Pushing the tempo in the fourth round and a body shot.
The latter performance in particular did remind audiences of the one advantage Ryan Garcia held over his rival, and that was his enormous social media reach and incredible commercial appeal.
Come on, Joe, I want to hear you say, I said, show me the money!
For this reason, a box office opportunity was immediately fast-tracked, and his desire to compete in the biggest money fight in the division was granted.
I'm gonna beat him, I'm gonna knock him out, and that's it. We'll see you April 22nd.
This guy I keep talking about, he gonna hit me with a hook. He don't have nothing else but a hook.
For all the talk of Garcia and Haney one day becoming the superstars of the division, there existed a certain Gervonta Davis. A fiercely talented boxer-puncher who by far was the biggest draw across the entirety of 3 weight divisions. And by Garcia securing a showdown with this colossal of a name, he returns to the ideal position to challenge for the elevated status many expected of him. Similarly, Devin Haney's new undisputed status caught the attention of the legendary Vasiliy Lomachenko. And the American himself was now granted the perfect opportunity to secure the most highly revered scalp in the division, one that would silence many of the critics who doubted his champion status. Incidentally, both of these hotly anticipated matchups took place within 2 weeks of one another, and both had the potential to completely transform the stature of each other's careers. But ultimately, boxing is a diligent sport that rewards hard work, commitment, and intelligence. And the greatest point of difference between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, that perhaps still exists to this day, could not have been shown more profoundly than how the two performed in their 2 most legacy-defining bouts. An apparent rib injury in the lead-up to the event prevented Garcia from mounting a competitive challenge against an incredibly sharp and confident Tank Davis. Whether true or not, very few observers gave credence to the claims, preferring instead to note the brilliance of his victor, who exploited the holes in Garcia's defense to secure a dominant stoppage victory.
Oh, Garcia forced to take a knee. Gervonta Tank Davis just stopped Ryan Garcia.
We're well prepared for tonight and whatever Loma brings to the table.
Devin Haney, in the meantime, contributed towards a tremendous tactical affair with the great Lomachenko. A nail-biting 12 rounds saw great success for both men, in which the champion, after a few nervous moments, utilized his size and youthful energy to earn an incredibly close points decision win. Though it was a result which many felt could have gone both ways, Haney still exhibited many of the elite qualities expected of him, and justifiably received the high praise his critics were previously unwilling to give.
Surreal. It's all a dream come true. I thank Allah for the victory.
And them shorts and them
Put God in me.
Them shorts and them
I thank Allah for looking over me, bringing me out of the ring safely tonight. My opponent as well.
With all 4 of his world titles retained, Devin Haney's mission at 135 pounds was complete. His move up to light welterweight was long overdue, and in a decision that matched the upward trend of his thriving career, he immediately targeted the WBC champion, Regis Prograis. With a comprehensive display of precision punching, an excellent jab and ring generalship beyond his 25 years, the new light welterweight entrant scored a shutout decision to become a 2-weight world champion. It was a virtuoso performance, perhaps the most impressive of his career, and one that would further compound the disparity between him and Garcia, who, just a week earlier, made his return to the ring against Oscar Duarte.
Oscar Duarte, you look at his record, 11 straight KOs.
In this fight, anything can happen. We're both explosive fighters. Both can knock each other out. There's really no need to talk.
A more calculated Garcia emerged from the defeat 8 months prior, as he bided his time against a dangerous foe, coming in with 11 back-to-back knockout wins.
Surprisingly, Duarte has a lot of fans here tonight.
And despite fighting on the retreat for large portions of the fight, Garcia still found an opportunity in the 8th round to land a trademark left hook to force the stoppage.
Nice left hand there from...
Though it served as a testing ground to experiment with a new coach, many saw it as a mixed performance, and the skepticism surrounding his abilities to compete with the best continued further. For all the perks associated with a huge, popular and marketable persona, the boxing industry will always possess a hypercritical segment of fans that ultimately care only about a fighter's performance in the ring. And in order to compensate for the failures of his past, Ryan Garcia currently recognizes the need to put forth a persuasive statement against a recognized elite.
But now I want to go for the legacy, I want to go for the bouts. Devin's in the way, you know, I'm on my vengeance arc. I'm ready to get back blood and everything, so I'm coming straight for his neck. I promise you that. I promise you, I'm coming straight for you.
In modern times, the commercialized aspect of boxing has far too frequently suppressed the innate competitive desires of its combatants. The eagerness to prove one's superiority with unadulterated hand-to-hand combat has been replaced with the political wranglings of promoters, networks and key decision-makers that aren't the boxers themselves.
It's bigger than boxing. We've been rivals since we were 9, 10 years old, and now it's time to seal the deal. And when it counts for everything on April the 20th.
But in Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, there appears to be a consistent appetite to seek out the best and most in-demand matchups available.
We came, we saw, we conquered once again. We're taking the show on the road, baby.
The current WBC Light Welterweight champion has gone through a painstaking campaign of chasing down his nearest competitors to bolster his legacy. In Ryan Garcia, he will face a third consecutive top-tier opponent without respite. And whether it's due to his adopted villain status or an ever-partisan fight audience, it's a redeeming quality the young champion doesn't get enough credit for. Opposing him stands someone who was once the most marketable prospect in the entire sport. An incredibly diverse online following, coupled with boy band looks and a wickedly talented penchant for fighting, convinced many observers of a potentially new Mexican-American great. He too, with a compelling need to fight the best, has fought long and hard to break the promotional shackles placed on him to seek out risks.
Both guys now having a moment. Oh! How quick was that?
Two incredibly gifted fighters at the absolute physical peak of their careers that see beyond championship belts or financial gains. A good old-fashioned desire for validation and respect, and a perfect embodiment of individual achievement, personal pride, and a quest for lasting greatness in the demanding world of professional boxing.